Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So today, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick video I should have done a long time ago, but I finally sat down for you guys and created kind of my guide for maps. Now, this isn't going to explain too much about rolling. It's mainly going to go into, the difficulties of the maps, where I'd rate them, and what maps you should run. Not necessarily what you should stay away from, but what I would run, if that makes sense. Is that cool? So we're going to start all the way with the basics of Tier 1. Alright? So, Tier 1 is starting at level 68, and you guys can kind of just, follow through. But we've got Tier 1, Coward's Trial. And now this is rated, from left to right, my personal favorite, going from left to right for each tier. So Coward's Trial is a unique map. It is I can show you it here. It is a unique crypt map. I'll have this wiki linked in the information below as well for you guys. And basically, you spawn. You go into the map and you go to the middle of the room, and there's a bunch of spawners, and they keep spawning monsters over and over and over, and you just kill them. Every time you clear the mobs, a new set of monsters spawn. If you guys want to look at your EXP per hour, just look at your EXP per hour while leveling. I can usually net about 300 to 350 mil EXP per hour on my new builds entering this area. And that's insane experience. So that's where I would put it. Now, of course, you can't always chain these, but they are cheap. You can get them for, like, one quick Chaos Orb. Sometimes you'll find a Rouge Exile who drop an Alchemy Orb, and you'll sell an Alchemy Orb and a Spell Echo and get a Coward's Trial. So that's another thing you could do. Now, next up in the line, I would say, is Untainted Paradise. This is a map you really cannot find too often. It is offered, I think, exclusively through Zana. I don't know if you can chance it. And it is a map you should not run at level 68 by yourself. That is not something that you want to do. But essentially, it is filled with animals. It is a tropical island map. So, tropical island is like the monkeys. It's like all open. And it gives you insane amounts of experience. The map actually rolls with an insane amount of experience. And you'll get, easily 3+ levels out of it. But it's not something you can just keep chaining. It's very rare to find. So, after that, going on to the actual maps, I would say Tropical Island is a very good map. It's a standard. You just open up. It's a wide area. You go. You hit the end, and then you get to the next area, and you go. And the boss is a Doge. I'm just kidding. It's a monkey who has I think it's extra physical damage aura. So just don't get hit by him. He could whop you for like 3.5k, but he does nothing. He's literally just a melee monkey that just walks at you. Simple. Done. Dunes is my next favorite. Dunes essentially is a layout where it's it kind of changes. You have like a side-to-side layout, and if you guys want to see, the layout is actually stated right here, so you can just read it right there as well. But it's essentially coast, but it's a more organized coast. You can just leap across, and it's pretty much usually side to side to side or up to down, depending on the layout. Now, the boss you have to be a little careful of, it's Hillock. And in maps, when he leap slams, he creates zombies. When the zombies die, they release a poison cloud based off their weapon damage, so he can hit a bit hard. Of course, you don't have to do the boss in a simple tier map like this, but the layout is very, very good. Alright, next up for T2s, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Mountain Ledge, thank you, Mech, and we're going to use Wharf. So, Mountain Ledge layout is pretty much like Ledge, where it's a straight line, except it's kind of like a pair of boobies, right? So you have like a pair of boobies, you clear the left wing, and then you clear the right wing, and then you go directly up the middle. I guess that's kind of more like a penis, but this is rated PG-13. And then right directly in the middle, you have Chatters, which is the boss, which literally doesn't do anything. So essentially, for clearing a mountain ledge, the reason why it's so awesome is there's no backtracking. You literally start, you pick either left, you go straight, you can go down the middle, you can go across, and then you can go to the boss, and you're good. So, next up, we are going to go into Wharf. Wharf is the docks layout. You can see we'll move this down to the Tier 2 section. Wharf is the docks layout, except it's docks as a straight line. You spawn, and it's got like implicit fire doges. You don't really have to worry about it. And you just keep on going and navigate, and you go all the way to the end. And the boss of this one, I think, is a Chaos Snake, so you might want to be a little careful. But they're really, really, really weak. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, and of course you could always skip them, but again, it is a Chaos Snake that sprays acid projectiles. Alright, let's move over to Tier 3. So Tier 3, I would pick Reef as my first map. Reef is a big open map. Let's see if I can show you specifically where it is here. JK, let's go back, pretend like we didn't mess anything up, boys. We didn't mess anything up. Reef is another really big open map where you can kind of go in a circle around and then cover the inner side. And the boss is a bit tanky. I think it's Asphyxia. She uses Arctic Breath. Doesn't do that much damage, but she will freeze you. She's a bit tanky, but again, nothing really too difficult. The map layout is really great. For this, I would put Mud Geyser as I would put Mud Geyser before Spider Layer, definitely. Mud Geyser is literally a circle. Where you spawn, you either go inner or outer, so you cover one, and then you cover the other, and the boss is a giant skeletal bone roa who can charge and do quite a bit of damage. But again, no boss mechanics, very simple. He also has a DJ aura. For Tier 4 is one of my favorite areas. We've got Shore, which Shore is essentially like Dunes, but higher level, with more density. The boss of it is Hail Rake, the guy that shoots out ice spears, not really too scary. Next up is Promenade. Promenade is another straight line. You have an up and a down. So for Promenade, either you'll clear top side or you'll just go zigzag is typically the best. Another straight line. And the bosses, you do have to be a bit careful of. They're a joke for majority of builds. However, it's a double boss. You have essentially, you have like a regular duelist who just uses double strike. And then you have a unique version of a Lightning Thorns caster that you can find in Act 3 that uses like arc and stuff. But she casts Lightning Thorns, and the Lightning Thorns does an insane amount of damage because it's tagged off of, a boss's damage. So for really quick, chaining builds, you do have to be careful because you can hit yourself for like 4k instantly. That's the only thing. But it's very obvious when you get to the bosses. Actually, it's really not. But it's all the way at the end. So next up, I would say Spider Forest. These aren't really any of my preferred maps, but if I had to pick one, I'm picking some for you guys. Spider Forest has Hillock as the boss, and the layout is kind of like, you guys know before you enter Weaver, how it's kind of like the little webs everywhere? It's kind of like that, but it's like all over the place. After that would be Overgrown Shrine, which I think is like Chamber of Sins layout. The boss is, actually I don't remember who the boss is for Overgrown Shrine. Let me go look at this. Confirm, boys. Edit video time. Overgrown Shrine. Is it? Does it even tell you? Oh, Hybrid Widow. Okay, that's what I thought. So this is a boss that will do a lot of damage to you. The boss is essentially Weaver, but it doesn't use EK. Actually, I don't think even yeah, it just flicker strikes you and then bites you in the face. Don't get bit by her because she's PJ Salt. Next up is Phantasmagoria. This map I'd recommend staying away from the boss. It is kind of like a straight line with a little bit of curves and edges. It's okay. The boss is, I forgot exactly what her name is. She's the unique boss when you're going to Malachi. It's like a spider. I think it's called a Bone Queen. And it summons corpses, summons monsters, and they suicide on your face. And they'll actually stun lock you. So you have to be careful of that. But her Detonate Dead can hit for like easily 4k plus. So this is someone I would recommend you skip. And when you get to the boss, well, you'll know you get to the boss because you'll hit an end, and it'll open as a circle. That's where the boss is. Next up, T5. T5 is also a really good section. You've got Underground Sea. Underground Sea is, again, it's like Mountain Ledge, regular Mountain Ledge. It's just a straight line. You just keep going. You'll have a few edges you go across. And the boss is Kaduku. Kaduku has dropped me a Shabs, so I really like Underground Sea. And I think it's a pretty cool map. The only thing you have to be careful for is rolling, like, multi-proj on it. Just because you're crossing, like, bridges and stuff. And you can have you can have a weird layout where, like, you're crossing a bridge. And then at the end of the bridge, it hooks. And you can have a bunch of, like, chaos constructs just, like, barraging you. So that is, like, the only instance I've ever been scared of in this map. Next up would be Bog. Bog is essentially Mud Geyser. It's the same exact thing. The boss of Bog... Well, it's not necessarily the same. It's larger. But the boss of Bog is, I think, the Chaos Snake again. The same one in Wharf. Nothing really too crazy. Then we have Pier, where Pier is an upgraded Wharf map, except with an easier boss. The boss is the Fire Doge from Act 1. You guys know the little Doge that comes around? That literally does nothing. That would be the boss there. Coves is up next. Coves is, I think it's kind of like Ship Graveyard layout. JK, it's actually the Coves layout. Where it's a circle, you take outer, and then you can go inner. The boss is quite tanky. It's Creighton. He doesn't really do much damage, but I will tell you he is substantially more tanky than the previous bosses that you fight. Last up would be Graveyard. Graveyard is a giant open square, so you can clear it, corner to corner, and then go inner side. Now, I will state as well that the boss of this is Merveil, and Merveil hits very, very hard and is tanky, just like not Fairgraves, Creighton, whatever I called him before. So you do want to be a little bit careful on this. It's not really too difficult, though. If you're playing high damage builds in Ascendancy, it's really not anything too crazy. Alright, next up is T6. T6 is Strand. Strand is love, Strand is life. It is a straight line map, and the boss of it is the Bandit from Act 2. You guys know when you're going to Chamber of Sins, there's a little guy that walks up and smacks you in the face. I think it's Infernal Blow or Heavy Strike. Actually, I think it's Heavy Strike. So he's the boss. Hits pretty hard, but you can see him coming at you. Next up, in terms of like experience-wise, I'd recommend Poor Joyce. Poor Joyce is a very rippy map. It has like monsters will kill you in one hit. JK, it's like 200% increased damage. It's like super steroids, but like triple experience. And it is the layout of kind of like, I think it's Lunaris. Not something I'd recommend to newer players, but if you know your build, you know your character, I'd run Poor Joyce. The boss isn't scary at all, either. It's the monsters that are scary, because the whites will detonate dead on blue corpses and hit you for like 5.5 thousand. After that, we have Colonnade. Colonnade is essentially an upgraded version of Promenade, except the boss of here is Cole. It's Cole, well, it's pretty much Brutus, because he uses the hook. His name... Just don't get hit by him. He'll hit you for like 4.5k, 5k unmitigated on him. Well, maybe like 4k. He hits really, really hard. So you want to be a little careful of him. Other than that, the map is pretty easy. And you'll know you're getting to this boss when it's in the middle, it's on the upside. And there's going to be a lot of light around the area. Like you'll see like, I don't know, it's weird. You'll know what I'm talking about. Like illuminate. Dry Woods is up next. Now, Dry Woods, I believe, is the monkeys, right? Let's see, let me make sure here. Where's Dry Woods? Dry Woods is the monkeys. Okay. Dry Woods layout is like a giant square again. You can clear it and then you go inner. So with Dry Woods, your bosses are the monkeys from oh god, what is it called? What is that place called? It's a side area, Dread Thicket. If you guys have ever done Thicket, there's these two little monkeys, right? So that's what the monkeys are. Well, the monkeys don't really do anything, so that's what it is. Now, what a lot of people like to do, any place that has double boss or triple boss, so a lot of areas like Arena and Museum I haven't recommended, but those two places, if you Vol Orb them, even if it's white and it's corrupted, each boss that you kill has a chance of dropping sacrifice pieces. So that's something you might want to look into, or the fragments, because you want to use those later on in higher end maps, which is not going to be talked about too much in this video. Alright, next up is Catacombs. It's a kind of a weird map. It's a giant square, except you have to go through. It's an indoor map, and it is kind of weird because there's only one side you go through to get to the boss. However, the boss is a giant necromancer that just summons, so he's really dumpy and doesn't really do anything. Next up would be Arachnid Nest. Arachnid Nest is not really too much of a preferred one, but again, it's just another option for you guys. The layout is again the spider shit everywhere. Let me see, where's Arachnid Nest. And the boss is, I want to say, is it the bandit dude? Is it going to tell me here? Is a necromancer located in Catacombs. Well, according to the wiki, did I click the wrong one? Arachnid Nest. Oh, I'm JK, Lord of the Bow. Okay, we're right. I was going to say, I was confused for a second.
Our illustrious champion returns. Welcome home.
We got a sub from Shenron. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm making a quick YouTube video, so I can't do too much of a shout out. Much appreciated, though, man. Alright, Lord of the Bow is, I think it's just a bandit that uses, like, Poison Arrow, Explosive Arrow. I think Burning Arrow. I haven't really had any issues with him, personally. Just be careful if you're running damage mods on your map, since, you know, usually we're insta-killing things, don't let him insta-kill you back. But I haven't had any issues with this boss, personally. Alright, next up we're going to go to T7s. Alright, so T7s, I would recommend Jungle Valley as my #1 map, because Jungle Valley is a giant circle. Or not even a circle, it's like a rectangle. Like, you literally can go 1, 2, 3, done, and you're finished. Now, the boss of Jungle Valley, I would not recommend. The boss of Jungle Valley can pretty much instant burst 5,000 HP effective life. She does hybrid chaos damage, or is it hybrid fizz chaos? I think it's chaos and fizz, I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I actually had to go look at these numerics. And she is literally the same exact thing as Weaver. Now, the problem with it and why it's scary is when you go into her area, she'll start summoning rare monsters, like rare spiders. And if she decides to spawn a substantial physical damage monster with a critical aura, and then EK you and you die, you know, that's kind of the shit that can happen. Personally, I don't really think she's too hard. She's not really tanky, but for people who can get, you know, a little overwhelmed, I would not recommend the boss for you. Next up would be Waste Pool. Waste Pool is an okay map. Let me see exactly where it is here. Waste Pool would be here. It's the sewers map layout. Nothing really too crazy. It's pretty standard. I don't remember what the implicit monsters are. It might be alchemists, so be a little careful, the chaos alchemists. But the boss is Asphyxia, the same thing as which map was it we were talking about? Reef. So it's just an upgraded version of that, which isn't anything too difficult by any means. So for tier 8s, we've got Canyon as my number 1. Canyon has Lord of the Bow, the same guy we were talking about before in the previous maps. He's not very scary. He actually does puncture. Someone brought this up, so thank you. You do have to be careful of like vulnerability, getting hit by his puncture, and then getting killed by like an instant 2k puncture bleed. That's the only scenario I'd say to be careful of. Or like minus max getting hit by an explosive arrow, but I don't really think that happens too often. And again, the map is very easy. It's a pretty much standard layout. You want to just go either you zigzag it or you go up to down. My next up one is Dried Penis. Dried Penis is a very good map. If you guys don't believe me as to what it's called, I'll search it right now. Dry Penis. Dried Peni, plural. All right. So Dried Peni is a pretty good map as well. Essentially, what you do for it is it's kind of like the same layout as what's the one we did here earlier? As Dry Woods. You know, dry and dry go together. The boss of this one is Nice. If you guys know Nice, the guy with the Allies Shall Not Die aura. And he doesn't really do any damage. So that's another one I'd recommend. So as for T9, T9 is like one of my favorite sections as well. You have George. George is a straight line like Strand, except it's not the Strand layout. And the boss is Creighton again. You literally just go boom. You just go straight and you're good to go. Next up, it would be Arid Lake. Arid Lake is kind of like Mud Geyser. It's like, you know, I could just show you right here. Arid Lake. Fetid Pool. It's a circle. Literally a giant circle. You can go outer and then inner. And the boss is, I think, a Roa. It's just a Chaos Roa. Or maybe it's just a regular Roa. It's a shitter. It doesn't do anything. You don't have to worry about it. And before Pohx, but I died to him. Alright, T10, we got Plateau. Plateau is like the best map in the game. It's literally like an upgraded mountain ledge. The boss as well is a Roa. Nothing to really be too scared of. Next up would be Bazaar. Bazaar is kind of annoying layout, but it's pretty cool at the same time. Bazaar is basically, you know, let's search it right here. Bazaar is marketplace layout. But you can hug the edges and go in a square around the entire area. Like you hug the side, and then you would go inner, and etc. And then it'd be clear. The bosses of this are triple ribbons, or is it double ribbons? It's double ribbons or triple ribbons. I'm not too sure which one it is. Each ribbon has a specific aura. Very weak. Don't really do anything. Usually you roll this with like insane quantity and damage mods because it's not scary. But I will tell you to be careful of if you have like vulnerability minus max extra damage as lightning, you could get stunned for like a ribbon by like 3 seconds. So be a little careful on that. After this, I would recommend Volcano. Volcano is a pretty standard map. You start, and it's like the Combs area layout. You're going to go through all the way. You just follow the line. It's literally following the line. Now, the problem with it is the bosses is the Tiki Totems. You guys know the totems on the way to Comb. They're kind of tanky. They're not really that difficult, but you just have to be careful. Don't stand still. What you want to do is just circle strafe them. You just go in a circle, and you're good. Don't panic. Don't fucking run back and forth. Just go in a circle. You know, dodge his magnum orbs. Now, I will tell you one other thing about this fight, because people won't tell you this. The totems that he spawns apply elemental equilibrium to you. So, you might want to be really careful on being over-capped resist of what they deal. So that is just definitely one thing to take into account, because elemental equilibrium will destroy your resistances. For people who don't know what that is, this is what elemental equilibrium does. Go ahead and read it to yourselves, because minus 50% resist is a lot. Oops. Alright. Next up, for T11. For T11, we've got Springs. Springs is essentially the Alira area. Well, actually, it's kind of like the Oak area, where it's just this gigantic, enormous, open platform area. Almost like Tropical Island in a way, but it's not broken down into separate areas. And the boss is Alira. Alira does no damage. The only time you need to be careful of Alira is when she corpse exploded the corpse of the boss. That's right, man. She does corpse explosion, and if you're fighting 2 Aliras and one corpse explodes the other one, you're probably gonna get hit for like 12,000 fire damage. So you don't really want to step on that because you might pull a Crip in Cybrix. I mean, just Crip, or maybe it's just Cybrix, Capital. So you might want to be a little careful there. As for T12s, T12s is when you're hitting it pretty big. I've got Shipyard as my number 1. Shipyard is basically it's kind of like actual docks layout in a way, but you can kind of hug the edges and just go around. And then you've got outer and then inner. The boss of this guy, this is like the easiest boss in the entire game. It is Gravicious. You guys know Gravicious when you're on the way to Piety, right before you enter Lunaris. You fight the guy with Molten Shell and a bunch of ES. That's the boss. Literally doesn't do anything. The only thing you have to be careful for is opening a lockbox and getting hit for 6,000 Ice Nova damage. Because then you'll get one shot. So as long as that doesn't happen, then you're good. Make sure you're viable to boxes. Next up, we got Village Ruin. The layout for Village Ruin is really, really nice, and that's why I put it up there. The bosses for Village Ruin, I would recommend all new players to skip. Basically, you have a Doge and a Turkey. If you guys have ever done, what is the boss called? Right before Duresso, like the first area when you enter, there's a little Doge and there's a Turkey. And the Turkey summons a Rain of Arrows totem. Well, this is what happens. When you kill the Doge, the Turkey enrages. When you kill the Turkey, the Doge enrages. If the Doge is enraged, he does this charge up and goes like that. Alright? So he does this little motion. I'm going to show you it again. Okay? He goes like this and he goes like that. Okay? If he goes like that and you're there, you're in Standard League now. So don't get hit by this. It might look really nice and happy, but this hits for, you know, like 9k. Alright? And also applies a puncture, which hits for like 80k. So don't get hit by that. Now, the chicken will spam Vol Rain of Arrows and lock you in place, right? He will lock you in place, and the Doge will, you know, do a little dance on your face, right? And you got to be a little careful of that. Also, he does like, I think if the chicken gets enraged, he does like 4.5k auto attack split arrow hits. Like he just split arrows and it'll hit you for like 4.5k, and you're just GG'd. So be careful of that. Next up would be Overgrown Ruin. Overgrown Ruin is a giant layout where basically you're gonna enter and you're gonna go ahead and clear the first floor. Like you go into separate rooms, then you descend. You clear all the rooms, you descend. You clear all the rooms, you descend. At the end, it is Fidelitas, as Hellman would say, or Fidelitis, as Hegemony would say. Hegemony has the proper pronunciation, but it's nothing too scary. He does hit pretty hard. Actually, his name is Loth. You do have to be careful of his lightning strike because he slams the ground and lightning strike shoots out, and it probably does like 4k unmitigated. So you do have to be a little careful of him, and it is a very small room to kite in. It's like a kind of a small circle, and you have an exterior to go on as well. Next up would be Arsenal. Arsenal is as well, I believe, the marketplace layout with a very, very easy boss. It is the Fire Golem from Crematorium, who just spams Firestorm and does nothing with his life. Very, very, very easy boss. Nothing to be concerned about. T13s, this is pretty much where I'm going to stop, because if you're going past T13s, you should understand what you're doing. And, in my opinion, and again, I'm not 100, I'm not a racer, I'm not a super EXP fiend, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm not stating I know facts. But when you're pushing T14 plus, you're diminishing your experience a little bit. Because you typically have to play a lot more defensive on these fights. It's not bad to run at all for any means. That's just my opinion towards it. So, T13, you've got Courtyard. Courtyard is the same layout as Orchard, which I should have put on here, but oh well, rip Orchard. Basically, you enter and you have a square, and you go through each room. Or you go, pretty much you go however you want. You can go across, then you can go diagonal, or you can go all the way across. The bosses of this can be quite scary. I personally like them, but they can be quite scary. It is the trio from Dominus. So you have the Leap Slammer, who does about 4k plus unmitigated Leap Slam. You have the Sparker, who summons totems that use Spark. And then you have the Cycloner. So these are things you want to be a little careful of. Again, something you definitely do not want to roll damage mods on your first time going in, because you want to understand the fight. Next up would be Dried Lake. Why did I put Dried Lake on there? What is Dried Lake? What the fuck is a dried lake? Oh, wasteland. I meant to put wasteland. Alright. There we go. Wasteland is the dried lake boss. Or sorry, the dried lake map, which is a great layout. I don't remember who the boss is. I've only run this a few times. The Brittle Emperor. Based on Vol. Oh! Oh yeah. So I've only done this like five times, and I don't know exactly what Vol does, so I could not tell you guys, because most of my builds one-shot things. Because, you know, trappers are really shit classes and builds. So I don't know exactly what this does. So you might want to be a little careful on it, but the layout was pretty nice. I think it was like desert layout, actually. Nothing too crazy. But that's going to be my information, my guides, again, to you guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. You could expect, you know, a part 2 with how to roll maps, you know, the basics of it, probably within the next couple days. But again, that's going to be it for me for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can always check me streaming live at twitch.tv/Pohx. Hope you guys have a wonderful time, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.